Okay, good evening. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for taking the time out to join me in this South Africa tour that's going to be taking place March 2nd, 2025. It's hard to believe I'm saying that. Anyways, I'm hoping everybody can hear me okay. If there's any problems, please put something in the chat line and we'll be able to monitor if there's any problems along the way. So my name's Colette, for those that might not know me, that have responded from the Spectator ad. I have an agency for 22 years on the corner of Fruitland and Barton for, seems forever. But due to COVID and the financial crisis it created, I closed down and started working from home. So this is what I've been doing to reach out to people. So I did this trip back in 2024 with a few clients. This is a little bit extended tour, this one compared to last time. So I just want to walk you through the itinerary, and then at the end we can, I'll open it up for questions. Okay. So once you arrive in Cape Town, that's where we're going to start. Cape Town to Hoda. Will arrive around on March 2nd. So depending on the flight schedules at the time, because it's still too early to look at them, we'll leave Canada either 2 days before or 1 day. All depends on the airline that's going to be running at that time, because right now they're all over the place. So I can't gauge on exact departure from Canada. When you arrive in Cape Town, you'll be you'll be able to see the landscape from the plane. And the biggest thing I heard from clients that came for the first time was the rugged coastline, that it was green and blue and not just dark brown and all sand. So this is a view from the plane as you're coming into Cape Town. So you'll be able to notice how beautiful it really is. So I think the first glimpse of Cape Town opened your mind a little bit that it's not really what you thought it was. So what we're going to be doing is on arrival on our first day, we're going to have, everything's private, just so you know, we have a private driver guide. Upon arrival, we'll have our transfers who will take us, our guide will take us to our hotel. Depending on the arrival time, will depend on whether we can check in right away or not. If it's an early arrival, then what I've done is I've set up a hop-on, hop-off tour bus just to kind of keep going so that you don't fall victim of going to sleep, to try and get on the local time. The hotel itself is in the waterfront. I'm going to just use my laser here to give you an idea. This area here is the waterfront, V&A waterfront. So there's hotels, there's restaurants, there's shops. Everything you can think of is right in this area. So it's very user-friendly, tourist-friendly, so you don't feel that you have to go far to go anywhere. So again, this is just the hop-on, hop-off bus image. And there's, of course, this is Table Mountain, because it's flat. And sometimes, most of the time, like it's probably a 50-50 if there's no fog on the mountain. So that's why I've got the tickets with Table Mountain the first day we arrive, because if it is a clear day, then we want to get up on the funicular and the cable car and get up there to see why people have to get up there. There's over 1,400 species of plants up here. It looks nothing, but the views are amazing. So if for some reason it's not very good weather-wise in terms of the fog, then we'll have a second chance on day 3. So the following day after breakfast is included every day from the hotel. We're going to be heading down to Friendship, which is one of the wine regions. Beautiful little town, probably about 50 Ks from Cape Town, but the scenery along the way is just absolutely stunning. So we'll have a chance to, peruse, walk around Friendship before we make our way to Rickety Ridge for a wine tasting, of course, but also to have an authentic dining experience with them It's Pachi. It's a Pachi lunch. So it's a little bit of everything. So that's something that's unique, and that will be for our group. Once we're finished there, we'll just back in the car or the van, and then back to Cape Town, where we have time at leisure. The following day, on day 3, we're going to be, just so you know, this is what the cable car looks like to get up to Table Mountain. So if the first day is foggy, the third day, we'll have a chance. And then if it's so, then we'll get up to Table Mountain to have a look. But we'll be also driving along the peninsula to Cape Point, Cape of Good Hope, for some scenic pictures. The drive along the way is just amazing. The Cape of Good Hope, it was first told that it was where the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean met, but that wasn't true. That's about 150 kilometers away. However, there are points of interest. There's signs there to say that you've been there. There's also another area we're going to go up to. They have an old funicular to get to this lighthouse up here. We're going to, after we hit the Cape of Good Hope for pictures, we're going to head over to the lighthouse where there's a funicular that goes up. If you want to hike it up, you can. It's a little bit of a challenge, but it's good if you want to get some exercise. There's a place for lunch if you want to have a snack before we get back in the car and head back to Cape Town. But along the way, there are chances you'll probably see some baboons. And the one thing with baboons, you always got to keep your windows rolled up, otherwise they're going to get at you. They're going to grab whatever they can. So, but one time I did see a zebra there. It's not often, but ostrich you'll see, and sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll see more things. So this is like a full day. By the time we get back, it'll be probably around 4 o'clock when we get into town. And when we're through, at 6 o'clock, we're going to get picked up and we're going to head out for a dinner experience at the Gold Restaurant. And I'm just going to give you a little snapshot what it's about.
Here at the Gold Restaurant, as you can see when you come in a Gold Restaurant, you'll find us, we are from the different countries of Africa. The queen that we present is a queen from Ghana, from the Akan tribe. Ordinary people, they were not allowed to look direct to the eyes of the queens. That's why you find us at Gold Restaurant, we protect ourselves, we're wearing the sun gold glasses, and everyone is sprinkling the gold dust around. So at Gold Restaurant, it falls in a part of that we still honor the kings and the queen in Africa.
So that's just an experience. They have drumming, they have entertainment, they have music, and for the dinner experience, they bring out like different courses so that you can enjoy, and they tell you. It's quite an eventful night, very, very colorful. So I think it's something that you'll enjoy. So now that'll come to the end of Cape Town. So the following morning after breakfast, we're going to check out and we're going to make our way to Hermanus. It's a seaside town. During the whale season, July to November, which we're not in, it's a viewing platform for whales. But during the coastal drive, we'll stop at Harold Porter's National Botanical Gardens for a little bit of walkabout. Again, some scenic areas to look at some of their flora and fauna. We'll be able to finish at Stony Point before we get to Hermanus. And Stony Point is where we're going to see these little guys here. So once we arrive in Hermanus after Stony Point, this is the boutique hotel we're going to stay at. It's lovely, it's coastal, it's right in front of the cliffside here across the street. It has walking tracks, it has a pool, it's a boutique hotel, very small and intimate. This will be the restaurant, Pentola, that we'll be experiencing that evening. But just to give you a little snapshot of those little guys.
Imagine a mystical gathering at Stony Point, South Africa, where enchantment meets the adorable waddle of penguins. In this whimsical world, the penguins reign supreme, strutting their tuxedo-like coats like mystical attire. These dapper creatures, the African penguins, have made this place their home, creating a whimsical wonderland along the rugged coastline. Did you know these waddling wonders have a secret language of their own? They communicate through a symphony of brays, squawks, and honks, turning their colony into a symphony of avian magic. But here's the mystical twist. While their black and white feathers seem monochromatic, each penguin has unique spots on their bellies, just like a magical fingerprint. No two are alike. Their underwater ballet is a sight to behold. These flightless birds transform into agile acrobats, gracefully dancing through the ocean depths, reaching speeds of up to 20 miles per hour. It's like witnessing an underwater wizardry show, and when it's time for romance, these penguins are true enchanters. They form lifelong bonds and express their love through ritualistic courtship dances that seem straight out of a mystical ballroom. But amidst all the magic, these mystical beings face challenges. Their numbers have dwindled, making them guardians of their own survival. Yet, through conservation efforts, this mystical haven remains a testament to hope and resilience for these wondrous creatures. At Stony Point, the penguins cast a spell of joy, enchantment, and a touch of mystical wonder, making it a place where reality and magic intertwine.
So they're quite something to see. And they're like in a community. They're not like, for those that have been to Australia and not seen the little penguins in Phillip Island, they come out at night at a certain time, whereas these guys are there all around. So when we go to the conservation area, it's off a beach, it's right in like a laneway of some homes, and you'll have a chance to walk along the boardwalk and view them very close. So it's a great opportunity to intertwine with them. When we're finished at Stony Point, again, like I said, we're off to Hermanus. We're going to stay at the Misty Waves for a couple nights. The first night we'll have dinner, and then the next day there'll be some optional things you can do. If you want to rest, you want to do the pool, you want to go for a walk, we're leaving that open for you guys to decide on your own what you'd like to do. The following day, so 2 nights Hermanus, will be, our end destination is Naisna, but we will be making a stop in Mossel Bay on the way. So this is the garden route. At the end, I have a map that outlines the distance, the places we're going to visit. But just to give you an idea, so Naisna is again another small community. We're going to be, it's a small, intimate estate. It's not on the water. It's up in the hill a bit, but lovely, brand new. They had a fire a few years ago. They redid it. I stayed there in May. Just fell in love with the place and said, I need to go back here. So, but in Mossel Bay, there's some history there. The lighthouse, the 19th century lighthouse, we're going to stop at a place that it's a historic piece. It's an old post office tree. It goes back to, I think, the 1600s when a Portuguese sailor or, developer, whatever you want to call those guys that find all these places, he had a wreck and he left a note in a shoe and he hung it on a tree. And today the tree's gone, but there's a big shoe that talks about the history of communication, and that's how they were communicating. So we're going to have lunch at the lighthouse, and then we'll make our way to Naisna and have dinner at the hotel that evening. Just so you're aware, some of the, for those that don't know, but South Africa has had for many years problems with electricity. So they share. Sometimes the power will go out in increments of 4 hours. Most of the places that we've been to have backup generators, and that's never caused an issue. Last year at Naisna, they hadn't got it. They said they were going to have it this year. So there were times where we were dining by candlelight. So that was kind of fun, but it's what goes on. So when we are in town, there could be that street lights are out. So that's why it's really important to have our driver guide, because he knows what's going on. The following day, we're going to go do a hike to the featherbed National Reserve. So we're going to be having a ferry that's going to take us across here. There's plenty of flora, fauna that's hiking. That we're going to do a oyster tasting with some bubbly. But again, the view's amazing. It's very hard to explain what you're going to see and how you're going to experience it, but it is breathtaking. I did not get there across, but I was on this side of the fence here looking towards the nature reserve. So, you know, this is a great time for taking your camera and getting some really good pictures. So we do have a stop in Plettenberg Bay, which after we start leaving Neisna, sorry, I kind of missed that overnight in Neisna. So we're 2 nights there. Then we're going to head off. Our stop before we fly out from Port Elizabeth is going to be in Plettenberg Bay. And this is where we're going to do a marine safari. So this will entail, well, I'll show you. I've got a little short video to show you. But this will be the hotel we stay at the night in Port Elizabeth. There's a boardwalk there. So we'll be arriving, you know, later in the afternoon, enough time to check in, go for a little stroll, have dinner, and really it's a stopover. But we will make a stop at Tsitsikamma National Park. This is just a small little snapshot of the rugged coastline again, where we'll be able to do a little hike here. It's just absolutely stunning. So I'm going to give you a little video clip of this marine safari it's a lot of fun. I did it last year and it was a hoot. So here we go.
Please, won't you wait, won't you stay, at least until the sun goes down. When you're gone, I lose faith, I lose everything I have found. Heartstrings, violence, that's what I hear when you're by my side. Yeah, that's what I hear when you're by my side. But when you're gone, the music goes, whoa, 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 whoa. I lose my rhythm, lose my soul, whoa, 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 whoa. So hear me out before you say the night is over. I want you to know that we gotta carry on. So don't let this be our final song.
So the one thing when you're coming from the water to get out, it's basically he gets you prepared, tells you to hold on, and as soon as he gets the right wave, he guns it right onto the beach, and then all of a sudden you're stopping because you're in the sand. So like I said, it's quite a feat to do that, but very interesting. So prior to heading to the next step, so this is like half the trip is done, and it's all been coastal. You noticed a lot. We're hugging the water line all along the way, and then we're going to leave Port Elizabeth and we're flying. We got a domestic flight to Durban, and Durban is like a place where they have vacation homes. This is like the athletic place where they do sports and stuff like that. So this is really cool. But once we finish in Durban, it'll all be more inland things we're going to do, because now we're shifting to the wildlife section of the tour. But the Oyster Box is a stunning property right on the water. You can see in this picture here, you're overlooking the sea, and you can actually go down the steps where there's a beautiful long kilometer walkway, like kilometers both ways. So it's a nice place to wander. As well as the Oyster Box is one of 17 Red Carnation hotels. They're a boutique hotel. There's only 17 around the world. And this is a really special place for the scenery, for the service, for the food, everything. So the one thing, everybody will have a sea view room. However, you don't want to keep your windows open or your doors, because their local mascot lives around there. So you'll see monkeys kind of like hanging around on the windowsill. So you have to be careful there, but it's an amazing place. So once we arrive in Durban, we are going to have a new driver guide. His focus or her focus is wildlife. So that's where we're going to shift into learning more about the wildlife as we gear up to our game drives in the reserve. So we're going to have dinner. We're going to just go for a short walk to a local restaurant, our first night in Durban. The next day, I just planned it to leave it open. You do as you please. If you want to, again, go for, this is the walk I'm talking about. It hugs everywhere and it goes for miles. So you can do that, or you can do a city tour if you want to go to the Oval. I did walk across that last time I was there. You're welcome to. We can talk about options at that time. And we will have our final dinner at the Oyster Box that evening. The next day, we're off and running. Now we're going inland. So this cute little guy here, we're going to go see a whole bunch of them. So the idea is we're going to probably have an early morning departure from Durban. We're going to head out to St. Lucia, where we're going to board a vessel here, and it's going to take us for, I was going to say a walkabout, but a boat about, to see these wonderful animals, the creatures. They're beautiful and they're big. So when you do see them, I have a video that I'll show you. And from there, we're going to leave St. Lucia and head to Kishui. When you see them close up, they're so cute, you just want to pet them, but they're the most dangerous animal. And they do wander in town at night. So it's not a safe place to walk around at nighttime, but we're not staying there. So our next destination is the Rhino Ridge Lodge. This is 3 nights in our first kind of gaming experience lodge area. So this is very exciting for us to do. So it's the next 3 nights. I didn't stay here. I stayed at the next lodge that we're going to do, but I wanted to encompass a different feel of lodge in a different area. So that's why I chose this place. So this is an inclusive property that has your meals included and the game drives. There's usually 2 game drives, early morning and afternoon, like late afternoon into the evening, with dinners to follow, breakfasts accordingly. They do also have hikes that you can do with a guide. So plenty to do, or not. You can just take it all in. Have a look at this place. And it makes you want to go there right now. Anyways, you can see by the look of it, it's very rustic, very authentic feel. And again, we're there for 3 nights. So when we first get there, there'll be an afternoon drive right away. So again, you'll get into the rhythm of things to know how it all works. So here again, we'll be doing some drives. You'll see that there's the Jeeps, you know, they have the guides. They'll walk you through everything, tell you what you're seeing. And they try to make you, you know, see if you can find the big 5. Sometimes people don't get to see the big 5. They might see 4. Most of the time it's 4, but you never know. So once we're finished with the Rhino Lodge, we have to make our way towards Hoedspruit, where our last stop is going to be. But in between, because of the distance, we need to go into Swaziland. It's a small little country, but we have to go in and stay a night in order to make our way the next day to Kapama Reserve. So we basically come to the border. We all get out, we walk through and get our passport stamped, and we go around and get in the vehicle and off we go. So this is how it all lays out. But they do have a wonderful, wonderful candle factory at this place, and that's why I like to go there. And it sounds hokey, but the candles are amazing, and they have the candle makers there too. But this is where you want to have space in your luggage, trust me. So they have the local markets as well. So this again is what we're going to do for 1 night. So once we finish getting through the border, getting to the candles, taking our time, we'll check in. It's just an overnight. We're going to have dinner together, have a rest, and then the next day we're going to be coming into our last 4 nights. So as we go from Swaziland, we'll go through the border again, get out, walk out, and do the same thing in reverse. We'll be making our way towards Kapama. There is a drive between Swaziland and Kapama, but there are plenty of just beautiful scenery that I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to take away from it and tell you. So you go online and look at everything, because I was shocked to see the beauty of some of these natural places that we went to visit. And there's great photo ops for sure. So anyways, when we get to Kapana, it's going to be probably a lunchtime when we arrive. So once we arrive, we're going to be brought in to the resort, where this is pretty typical room that we're going to have. It's a deluxe room, plenty of space. And this resort is inclusive even of the drinks. So your wines and local drinks and stuff like that. They do host all the beverages and stuff inside your fridge. They have a coffee machine. It's just a beautiful spot to end our time here. This area here is where they have a spa. So I spent 4 hours at the spa doing treatments, and it was well worth it. So I would definitely say you need to book ahead. But when you're here in these treatment rooms, you're by yourself, and all you do is look out here into the lagoon, and there's animals all the time, right? So you're still in the wildlife area, but you have this wonderful area to just relax. So we're going to go for an afternoon drive, and after that it'll be dinner time. So when you get back, you wash up and you head to dinner. This place is a lot more modern feel to the other one, and that's why I wanted to have the contrast, but also having time to just wind down from everything and remember things. They have a bigger pool area and a bar set up at the pool besides the spa one, and where you can have food. So if you really wanted to just have a swim and do nothing and suntan, you're welcome to do that here. They also have guides that do walking guide tours, and sometimes they're at the same time as the drive. So you might want to decide. You might say, well, today I'll skip it. So there's choices here, and it's really all about what you want to do on the last 4 days you're here. So here's a little snapshot of Kapama. And here again, these are snapshots. So they have like the driver guide, and then they have a spotter at the beginning of the vehicle. So in the daytime, like in the mornings, you'll go out at, I think it's 6 a.m., 5:36 for a morning drive. About 3 hours for the drive. You come back and you'll go for breakfast, and then you'll have time to rest, go to the pool, do a spa, and then if you want, you get ready for the 4 o'clock. You'll have the same driver, you'll be in the same vehicle. Your dining area will be a specific area that's where you'll go all the time. So it's well put together. Like I said, you can pretty much do as you please when you're there. It's your choice, it's your holiday. So this is where we end. We have 4 nights here. So there's plenty of time to get all your game drives in and just take it all in. The beauty of finishing here is we're literally 10 minutes from the local airport to take you to the, to our international flights from Johannesburg. So it's the second domestic flight we would have to take from Hoedspruit to Johannesburg, where we will then have to check in for the international flights home. So at this note, this is when we finish our breakfast and we take the flight back to Johannesburg, and off we go. We make our way home. So just to give you an idea, there's also pre and post days. If you're thinking you want to extend, that's something I can do. We just have to talk on a one-on-one basis for that. So some information now. Again, I'll get this to you, this recording, so you'll be able to review it again, and there'll be notes from the itinerary as well. So the inclusions, basically your accommodation based on the itinerary, anywhere where you see BLD, breakfast, lunch, or dinner is included. Your driver guide, we're going to have 2 of them, one starting in Cape Town to Port Elizabeth, the other one from Durban to Hoedspruit. She'll actually drop us off at Hoedspruit, and then they'll be leaving while we spend our last 4 days there. We'll have somebody meet us at the airport on arrival and assist us to our hotel. Any entrance fees and activities that are per the itinerary that we've included. That's pretty much it there. Hotel porterage, yep. The exclusions, the big ones, international flights and domestic flights. So I will have specific flights that we need to book, but they're not included in the itinerary, but I'll go through the pricing with you. If you're interested in pre and post tours, absolutely, you talk to me, and then we can further investigate. If, the fuel goes wonky and, they say, look, we've got to raise our prices up on fuel surcharges, and that's something that we have to accept based on if it happens. I haven't had it happen, but if there's meals that are not listed, and of course drinks, like I said, very cost effective though, for meals and drinks there. Tips and gratuities. What I've done here is I haven't included them, but for those that will book to go, I will advise you that I will pre-collect any gratuities for the driver guide, as well as the meals that are included. That'll eliminate any, because I went through a lot of stuff the last time I went, and it was sometimes difficult to get everybody on the same page. So I just said, no, next time I'll just pre-collect it. That way you don't have to worry about it when you're at the restaurant or whatever. Early check-in and check-out, the rooms, they don't usually give it to us for free unless they happen to have the room. Travel insurance, highly recommended, so we can talk about options. Changes in government taxes. What else? Visa, your passport. You don't need a visa, but your passport is highly recommended for 6 months prior from the return date. So if you're coming back, say March 20th, then it's got to be 6 months from that date. That's got to be valid. The one thing too that is good to know is the type of clothing you need to bring. This is a very casual type of tour. You're really in comfort clothes. When you're on the game drives and stuff, just natural colors, just to blend in with the land. There'll be opportunities to do laundry at certain hotels or have laundry done for you, and I'll let you know that ahead of time. So it's very like one piece of luggage is all you need to travel to do this tour. I've done it. So important information. I briefly spoke about insurance, so it's highly recommended. Insurance is against, for trip cancellation, interruption. If you believe you have insurance on your credit card that you have, please check the parameters around it, because there's usually a limit, and most people don't find out until it's too late. So really dig into what insurance you might have. So for trip cancellation, for medical, all that kind of stuff. Entrance tickets cannot be guaranteed until the group is finalized. Well, we'll go through that. That's not real important right at this moment. Again, passport, 6 months from your scheduled return date. Here's the big thing, is 2 full blank pages in your passport. This is for when we go to Swaziland, so make sure you check your passport, right? Currency, as long as their currency stays strong or ours doesn't go really weak, the pricing can fluctuate with the hotel. They could advise us that there has been an increase in the price because it's not paid in full. So if there's anything like that, I'll be sure to advise. But again, I haven't had that happen in the past. So now we find out how much it costs. So the 19-day custom tour is $16,940 Canadian per person. If you're traveling single, you have to add $62.99. I'm real sorry. Everybody that's single has to pay it, and it's unfortunate. The pricing is based on double occupancy, and it doesn't include international or domestic airfare. The domestic, approximately $675 Canadian for the Port Elizabeth to Durban, and then Hoedspruit to Johannesburg. And we all have to be on that same flight. They do have a luggage restriction, I believe, of 20 kilograms or 23 kilograms. So, but I do know that you can pay if you are over. I've had to do that. So just to let you know. Deposits and final payments. So we need 10 for this tour to go. We do have 2 couples interested in booking, just so you know, and there's a few that I've been talking to. So once we reach our 10, the tour will be confirmed, deposits will be made. And if you're thinking of coming, the rest of the space will be based on first come, first served basis. I can't hold space while you think about it. It's really, I can't do that. So it's $2,000 per person plus the domestic air. The reason we're doing the domestic air is so we have the money for when they get the flight, and then we buy it right away. So we don't get any price increase. So we want to ensure that that money is available for those flights right at that time, because those will be booked and paid in full. We'll get a second deposit on June 1st, another $2,000 per person, and final is November 22nd. So when it comes to international air, I can arrange it individually depending on the numbers we have. If we have everybody going in at the same time and coming out at the same time, the same gateway, then I can look at group air, which will give us some benefit. So I can talk individually to everybody at that time. So you can economy, business, premium economy, whatever you like. Pricing, I think, is going to be, it's hard to say for next year, but I think economy's starting point is probably going to be about $2,500. And I think we can go as high as $9,000 for business. But again, if we do it early enough, we might be able to get on the lower end of that $9,000. Probably, I think the last time we paid about between $65,000 and $7,000 for business. Premium was in the around the 4,500, something like that. Anyways, we can talk more about that. The weather. So we're talking the end of February. It's still going to be warm. It's not going to be as hot, but there will be areas that are going to be much warmer than when you're in Cape Town. Okay, because we're coastal. We'll always have the breeze, the wind with us, and once we get inland, that's when it gets a little bit more warmer, hotter, maybe humid. So you can expect 25 degrees, but it could go down to 17 at night. So, you know, you might have light sweaters, but like I said, very light clothing. You know, the clothing that you would do for hikes that you do now is perfect. Again, casual wear, good solid shoes for this. You don't have to dress up for dinner evenings. It's, again, casual. Rands is the currency that you get, and I would probably buy some, you know, maybe order some a few weeks before you go. I would have a variety of denominations, and ATMs are available, which the guide would assist. Now, he did that for us. He took us to the right ATMs. He knew which ones to take us to and stayed with us. But credit cards are widely accepted, so it's not a big issue. But it's better to have the rands for, you know, coffees and things like that, or if you're going to the market, cash is king there. Like I said, some accommodations offer laundry service, and you'll know ahead of time. And the best thing to do is be prepared and say, you know, here it is. I need it for the next day. So then you don't ever have to worry about not having enough clothes. The moderate ability to climb unstable terrain, you know, so you got to be kind of good on your feet for this type of adventure. And like I said, one checked luggage, one carry-on small, because it's going in the van. You got to, you know, it's in and out of the van, so the lighter the better, I guess. And here's, I try to find the best map to outline our journey. So we will start in Cape Town, and we're hugging the shoreline all the way through the area. And when we get up to Port Elizabeth, we're going to be flying up to Durban. We're going to go through to Shishui, but we're going to, St. Lucia's in the middle here, go through Swaziland, where we're going to end up right around here for our game drive. There's going to be one, sorry, there's one here, the Rhino Lodge, and then Kapama's up here. And then that short flight will be from Hoedspruit to Johannesburg, and then home. So I'm going to stop the recording right now, and I'm going to bring everybody in. If you have any questions, we can chat. So give me 1 second while I